So we're driving now to this winterland in the Netherlands. And it brings me to a quote: "Winter is coming." This is a quote that has a universal appeal, but also has been made famous by a series called Game of Thrones, which I haven't watched. But I heard there were three principles. One is there was a tribe that always prepared for the worst, therefore prepare for the winter. Winter is coming. Two, the tribe also installed fear in the hearts of their enemies because they were so associated with that winter is coming that they were associated with the winter. So if they would strike their enemy, it would be them coming for them. And three, the other one was that there was a certain group within that tribe, the whites, that also could return. But more important for us as an entrepreneur, founder, you need to prepare for the worst. And also now, with this COVID-19 corona crisis, you can imagine that there will be a winter coming, and not like this, that the weather will change, but that the winter will come for all of us, and not only the entrepreneurs but also those that are employees, because this COVID corona thing, the crisis as they call it, has also a huge impact on the economic system and will give a big crisis in the future. It already gave a big crisis, but most people cannot see this. It's like a big block of ice, only a part is above the water and most is below it. And why can't we see it? Because governments, etc., still keep things going, especially in the westernized countries, which results in they bring in subsidies and other arrangements, but those subsidies are not free money. The subsidies are paid for by the people of a country, especially the taxpayers. And why so? Well, if you, for example, print additional money, this means that all other money will devaluate. If you print 10% more money, all the other money will devaluate almost 10%. So that gives you a little bit of insight of what is happening. The other thing is that when you reach out and you give people money, the government, for example, takes on a bigger debt, and that debt has to be paid by the government, you think? Yes, but the government will pay it with money from their people. So the money has been paid by those that pay taxes and will be paid in future as well. That being said, that are all just economic constructs, but also if the economy is collapsing, another economy will take over. And once that other economy takes over, you will be set back even further. So I don't want to be pessimistic, because that's not my thing. I just waved to my mother, she was there. And it's not just an economic thing, and I don't want to be pessimistic, and we don't need to be pessimistic, because also after winter there will always be a spring. But it could be that the winter takes a big toll, because those that cannot make it will be set back years in their development, and their freedom also from being a slave to the system, because the system will keep you in slavery, that you just have to have that 9 to 5 grind, or even more. If you look at the United States, for example, it's very common that people will keep working until they die. Also, it's very common that in some states, because the cost of living are that extremely high, it's very normal that you have 2 jobs or even 3 jobs to facilitate that you can pay the rent and some other things. So it's not just living and enjoying, but it pays the necessities so that you keep on producing again, to work in the system, and it maintains you to work in the system. The system has some benefits because there is a system, let's be clear. Without a system it would be even harder. But you can also make your own system, and by doing so you are a lot less vulnerable to the normal slavery that the system embodies. The system is directed at producing as much as possible and getting the most possible leverage out of the cattle, so to say. And in this case, the cattle is including humans, because they just keep them in the system, and by keeping them in the system, they will produce, and they can be taxed as well. And it's not that you should not work with the system. I think you should, but you should also have your own plan. And if you're not wanting to be a 9-to-5 slave all the time and you want to escape this rat race, there are some options that you could consider. And one of those options is that you have a plan. And if you have a plan, you can also make some money without putting hours in, but just make money for that you have something, an asset that produces some money. It could be stocks, could be real estate, could be all kinds of things, of course. But that would help tremendously. Or you could, as an entrepreneur, you have your own ID, and you don't have to only put in hours for the production, but also the ID itself produces something for you. So then you have a little bit less relationship between input of hours and output of income. And those things, even in winter, like it is now, you could consider. And I'm not saying that you have to do it at this time, because many of us are just scraping by, and then that's it, just scrape by. But the winter, in this sense, also when the economy will be going down, can also trigger something in yourself that you think, okay, I understand this now, I wasn't prepared as I should have been, but I will prepare when the situations will change again in my favor. That's also a good lesson. I must say that everyone has to learn his lessons, and it is never too late, but the earlier you learn your lessons, the more you have your cumulative gain, so to say. So for example, if you have an asset that produces something for you and you don't need that, you can also reinvest that into new assets that can produce for you. And that's a good thing if it's possible. For many people it's not possible, myself included. I don't always have the things that I want to have in place to produce something. But you can think about it, and when you do think about it, you can make it more of a reality. But you should not only think about it, but also do it. Even if it's a small thing, start doing it. Okay, we're home. Have a great day.